Okay, here we go. Continuing with these division problems, dividing polynomials, right? This is no longer a monomial, so we have to do long division, right? This is long division, division of polynomials. So let's set this up as a division. That'll be 2p cubed minus 8p squared plus 2p plus 15 divided by the p minus 2. Okay, so remember the steps for division? Steps over here. Number 1 is to divide, that's the first step. The second is to multiply. And the third is to subtract. All right. So again, when you have a binomial or even a trinomial, which we'll see later, again, you cover that. You only look at the first term and the first term and just focus in there. Divide. P, how many times do I need, or what do I need to multiply to this p to get to the 2p cubed? Well, that would be a 2p squared. All right. The next step is multiply. But now you multiply to both this one and this one. Don't forget that. So that would give us 2p cubed minus 4p squared, right? 2p squared times p is 2p cubed. The negative 2 and the positive 2 is negative 4p squared. Now remember the subtract. When you're supposed to subtract now, it's going to change the signs of the bottom one. Just remember that. When we're now in this third step where you have to subtract, it changes the sign. So that's a positive. I change it to a negative and I circle it so I know that that's the new sign, or that I changed it, right? And if that's a negative, changes to a positive. Okay, now we can add the terms. Positive 2p cubed and negative 2p cubed will cancel. You're left with negative 8 and positive 4 is negative 4p squared. All right. That was one round. Let's go next round. Second round. Drop this next term that follows here. Now let's start again. You only look at the first, and you only look at the first. And what do I need to multiply to a p to get the negative 4p squared? Well, that would be a negative 4 and then a p. So that's going to be, oh, now we have to distribute, right? This one times the first one and this one times the second one. Negative 4p times another p is negative 4p squared. And then negative 4p times the negative 2 is positive 8p. All right. Now we have to subtract. Don't add these. You have to subtract. But when you put a subtract right there, remember that changes these signs. So that'll change from a negative to a positive. That'll change from a positive to a negative. See, I circle the new sign because the signs are going to change. All right. And that would be what? Well, these cancel. You're left with negative 6p. Okay, and we have finished the second round. Now we go to this and get this last term. Drop it down. And then here we go again. How do we start? We only look at the first one, and you only look at the first term, right? Remember that. That's the dividing part. So what do I have to multiply to a p to get negative 6p? Well, negative 6. That was divide. Now multiply. Multiply these two. That would be, well, negative 6 times this one and negative 6 times this one. So that's negative 6p. And that would be a positive 12, right? Yeah, positive 12. Now let's do the subtract. When you subtract, that changes these signs. That changes to a positive. That changes this to a negative. And we're going to get a remainder. Don't think it's always going to be remainder 0. Here we have a remainder of 3. 15 take away 12, 3. Okay. So now the way you're going to write the answer, is like this. Let me go back and remind you something from, again, elementary school. Let's say I do 9 divided by 2, right? That'd be 4, right? And that would give you 8. Subtract, you get 1. What do you do? So we got a remainder. Got a remainder here, we got a remainder here. Same thing here, we got a remainder. Another way to write this is the answer is here, the way you're going to see it here now written is 4, which is this, right? This part, the 4. And then if you remember, anybody remember doing the remainder over the divisor? 4 and 1/2, like that. You put the remainder over the divisor, and that's the quotient, right? This would be another form of writing this answer. And you know how 9 divided by 2 can also look at like 9 over 2 like this? Anybody remember this when you did this business like this? 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 is what? 9 over 2. See, it's the same thing. Okay, so I'm trying to get this answer in this form. So now you're going to do the same thing here. Well, the answer here, or the quotient, this 4 is the what? Your answer is going to have to be written as 2p squared minus 4p minus 6. And then you're not going to put like r. Oh yeah, some of you put like remainder. No, you're going to put plus this remainder over the divisor, like we did here. The remainder over the divisor. So I'm putting the 3 over the p minus 2. This is how you'll see the answer. All right, let's do another one. Now we're going to see them a little bit more challenging here. Number 3. What if we go with, again, and then they can write division like this, where you'll see the divide, and then another way they can also indicate division is like 6x cubed plus 7x squared plus x plus 1 divided by, right? That's also division, divided by 2x plus 3, like that, all right? That's also division. This is also, that means divide, right? Division. Okay, well, we're going to have to set it up in long division format. Got my divisor here. I got my dividend here. And let's start the process. Just look at the first one. What do I need? I need a 3 and x squared, right? 2x times this has to give me this. You got to make sure it's good. Look at the numbers, look at the variables. It's good. That's divide. Now multiply. That would give you, oh, now you got to multiply to both. Oh, remember that. So that would be 6x cubed. This one times this one. This one times this one is plus what? 9x squared. Last step is to subtract, but subtract does what? It changes the sign because that negative has to be distributed. So whatever these signs are changes. This is a positive, change it to a negative, I circle it. This is a positive, change it to a negative, I circle it. So I know that's my new sign. All right, so these will divide, 6 take away 6, 0, they'll go away. You'll be left with negative 2x squared. All right, that was the first round. Let's drop the next one and continue. Plus x. Let's start again. How do we start? We just look at the first one and just look at the first one. What do I need to multiply to this 2x to give me this? Well, I need a negative and an x. A negative, right, because it has a negative. I don't need a 2, it already has it, but I do need an x. All right. Now multiply to both. That'll be negative 2x squared, negative 3x. Okay. Now we subtract, so that changes the signs of these down here. So that'll change this to a plus. That'll change this to a plus. And this will add up to 0. This will leave you with 3x plus 1x, 4x. Drop the last one and do one more round. How do we do it? We just look at the first one. We just look at the first one. What do I need to multiply to a 2x to get a 4x? Well, that's just a plus 2. Now multiply this to both of these. That'll be 4x plus 6. 2 times 2x is 4x. 2 times 3 is 6. Now what? Subtract. Subtract does what? Changes the signs. Whatever. This is a positive, change it to a negative. If this would have been a negative, you change it to a positive. That's what you do. And I put the new sign and I circle it. I put the new sign and I circle it, so I know I did it. And what? Subtract. These will cancel. This will be we'll have a remainder here, negative 5. Okay, so how do we write the answer here now? Remember, the answer will be like this. It'll be your quotient, 3x squared minus x plus 2, and when you have a remainder, you have to put plus negative 5 over the divisor. That's one acceptable way, but watch. This is how they're going to try to fool you here. I think they do this. You see, when this is a plus and this is a negative, they might also have it this way. 3x squared minus x plus 2. And now this plus, because of this minus, because of this negative, they just kind of combine like terms right there. And then they'll put 5 over 2x plus 3. It's the same thing. Okay? The negative, instead of being on the 5 here, they just drop it to over here to the front. That's fine. All right, I'm going to have to do another video with a couple more examples. Thank you. Make sure you look at the next one. That's when it gets tough.